What's going on, everybody? This is Living in Arizona Now, and today we are going to talk about the places that you probably want to avoid when you move to Arizona or even travel. But for some people who are looking for seclusion or isolation, this could actually be the places that you want to go to. Not necessarily these places are that bad. Like none of these places are going to be like 5-alarm dumpster fires where you can't go there at all. It's just these are the places that most Arizona people would tell you to avoid. Obviously, we're looking at Sedona here, which is one of the top places. But let's go ahead and dive in here. Also, in the comments, guys, let us know what your places are on this list, what places people should avoid, or if you disagree with any of the places on this list. So thanks to everyone who's already hitting the likes. I see you guys already dialing this in. Let's go ahead and get into this list. By the way, Living in Arizona Now, if you guys are new to Arizona, you go on this homepage, especially if you love off-roading, go through this playlist, watch all these videos, Arizona road trips. A great way to get to know Arizona is just by going onto our homepage and watching all of our videos. Lots of videos right there for you guys to check out. So now, depending on where you go on the internet, you'll get a whole different bunch of lists. Obviously, these are made by people who live outside Arizona and they just pull data. But you could see only in your state. They've got Globe, Tolleson, Page. Some of these I agree with, some of them I don't. So we're going to talk about these areas that I think you should avoid. Again, thanks to everyone who's dialing it in with the comments. I see Rosangela, and I see Yves, and I see Budget Wargamer. What's going on? Steve should make videos on this channel. He's lived in Arizona for a while. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into this as we start looking at the list. So we got Google Maps right in front of us. First area that I want to highlight is going to be this patch of basically, let's just call it Terra Cotta. It's kind of like this peach color right here. Well, there's a bunch of places around here that might be cool to drive through. It's basically where Highway 40 is. I'm not a big fan of this area right here, but you got Holbrook, you got Joseph City, Winslow, right along old Route 66. It might be cool to go visit because they got the petrified forest out here, but in terms of living, I just don't think this is where you want to live. And if you go there, you'll notice the infrastructure is just not there. Now, you could go there and find that you could get cheap land, or you can get anything, anything cheap, or seclusion or isolation. But between the high crime, being right there on the highway, no real modern infrastructure built anywhere around Holbrook, Winslow, Joseph City, this whole area, even Snowflake, you could probably put Snowflake on the list. Just this whole area, I would say, not going to be one of the best places in all of Arizona. Now, the other area I want to show you is going to be up in northwestern Arizona. This is up along the Colorado River. Okay, so I get a lot of people on this channel are always saying, hey, Jeff, what about Kingman, this and that. Well, if you look right here, you could see this is where Death Valley is, okay? And then you got the Mojave Desert, and then it kind of pours up into here. In this area, this is some of the hottest area in all of the country. So maybe it's decent weather in the wintertime. It might be like 65 at its coldest and like 75 pretty much through January and February, but just not a really great area. They got issues with crime, but in particular, the area around Bullhead City, I'm just not a big fan. You can see right here. It's nice, I guess, to visit or drive through it, but in terms of living there, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is one of the best places to live. So Bullhead City, it is across the river from Laughlin. You could see right here, Laughlin being one of the more popular places. I will try to take some comments, but I see some people already dropping some comments about Maryvale. Keep dropping them, guys. I like these suggestions you guys got because that helps give some additional ideas that I might not have. So anyway, Bullhead City all the way over to Kingman. Just not a big fan. Hot in the summer, cold in the winter. So it's not ideal. It's not like Florida where you get like this, in the winter, you get like these decent 75, 80 around Kingman. It's just really cold in the winter, really hot in the summer. All right, so the next area that we're going to talk about is going to be around the Phoenix area because a lot of people who move to Arizona, they kind of start out there. I would say the general rule of thumb is south of I-10 and west of I-17 around this South Mountain area around the river. And mostly the reason why this is a tough area to live or not the most ideal place in Phoenix to live, in particular, we're talking about Tolleson. Someone else mentioned Maryvale, which is just north of the I-10, so not technically within the parameters of what I just said. But this area around Tolleson the reason it's so difficult, this is the industrial, this is all zoned for industry. You could see all of this industry. Now, what happens in industry? They've got a lot of environmental hazards and pollutants that are going into the sky. So the area around Tolleson has just never really been an ideal place. They've got high crime. Now, I realize some people watch this channel from Tolleson. Cool people. They say positive things. They'll say they've lived there for a long time, but they haven't had any issues. But even if you look at the crime data for the city of Tolleson, according to the per capita census FBI data, Tolleson is going to be right up there at the top. So if we go down to Tucson, we'll talk about another place. The area around Tucson you kind of want to avoid is this where this 19 and 10 kind of converge around the airport. That's considered South Tucson. A lot of people in Arizona, they already know this. They'll tell you the exact same thing, so you're not getting any misinformation here. But Tucson, around the Tucson airport, not considered the best place in Arizona to live, okay? If you do go Tucson, the further north you get, usually leads you towards the mountains right here. And this is the Catalina Mountains, the Catalina foothills. This whole area is a nice area to live. Now, if we just go kind of in between Phoenix and Tucson, there is some areas around here where people are trying to move. They're asking about it, and I just don't really recommend it. And the area that I'd probably say that you don't really want to end up living if you can avoid it, at least right now, maybe 20 years from now, it could pick up, because one of the interesting things that's happening is the cheap land is actually making the area more appealing. So because developers can buy cheap land, they develop in these unsavory areas, mostly because it's just a barren wasteland. There's nothing that really grows there. I mean, you're noticing like the places where no trees even live, right? No trees live there. There's barely even any lizards that live there, and snakes. I mean, maybe reptiles, that's about it. So it's like, if you want to live in a place where only reptiles like lizards and snakes live, then live in these places. But the area I would say in between probably Red Rock to Eloy, it's just not a very ideal place to be. And if you talk to a lot of locals, they'll probably tell you the exact same thing. Eloy, Picacho, Red Rock, in the summertime, I mean, this place is like the hottest place I can imagine. Like in July, you drive from Phoenix to Tucson, that area around Picacho Peak, just, man, it's cooking. It's really cooking. You could probably fry an egg on the freeway on I-10 in the summertime around that area. Now, I get it. All of Phoenix and Tucson is going to be hot, but something about that area just really radiates heat. Budget Warmonger, he says, New River is pretty decent. Yeah, and I was actually just having a conversation with Steve. He was saying that the area up by New River, it's nice, but there's this little area up there by Black Canyon City that just never seems to kind of pull out of the past. So now, for some people, they might like that, but if you're like an outsider trying to go up into Black Canyon City right here, it's like the people there are stuck in the past. They still live in their trailers. Nothing against that, but I'm just saying it's a place that just hasn't really evolved or developed, even though it's just north of New River. And if you're a local, you can even say something in the comments about Black Canyon City. It's a real beautiful area. Obviously, the reason it's called Black Canyon City is because the canyon has that lava colored rock, so that's where it gets its name. But it's I-17 just drives right through there. To any of you guys who've been to Black Canyon City, you tell us. But anyway, the next one that I want to talk about is going to be kind of in Arizona, around Phoenix. We're going to go to the south side. These two areas are primed for growth. So when you come to Phoenix, they're going to kind of encourage you to go in this direction, but buyer beware. This is the reason it's cheap is because it's kind of like the armpit of Phoenix. I mean, there's like, if there was two armpits of Phoenix, it would probably be Buckeye and Apache Junction headed south towards like Coolidge. Coolidge is not quite Metro Phoenix, but they're on the outskirts. Those were considered like the unsavory areas of Phoenix, but they're actually the areas that are projected to get the most growth. So again, buyer beware. So over here you have Apache Junction, beautiful views of the Superstition Mountains, Flatiron right there. You get a great view, but the area in and of itself is not considered a great place to live. If you're an Arizona local, please help me out with this one. Explain your experience with Apache Junction. Beautiful views, but it's just something that's a little bit off in Apache Junction. People can't quite put their finger on it. But if you go a little bit further south, you come to Coolidge. Now, Coolidge is very interesting because if you drive through Coolidge, you just take the 287, you drive through there tomorrow. Let's just say you drive through there in a week or two. You're going to say, so this is the place where they're talking about getting the most, this is the place that's going to get the most projected growth over the next few years. And it's because it's cheap. That's so cheap that they can build there no problem. By the way, this is Oak Creek Canyon. But yeah, so this area around Coolidge, it's cheap. It's projected to get a lot of growth. They build more industry. Nikola built out there. What is it? The other electric car company, not Lucas Motors. Someone please tell me. Lucid Motors. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, that's what's all going out in Coolidge. But Coolidge is projected to get a lot of growth, but it's just not the greatest place. It's right on the southern banks of the Gila River. Even if you go over towards Florence, one of the reasons why Florence is so cheap is because that's where the state penitentiary is. You can see right here, Arizona State Prison Complex. This is basically the big complex. So, you know, if you want to live next to the prison, move out there to Florence or Coolidge. But even in this whole area right here, it's just, I don't know. To those of you who've been there, you probably could say a thing or two about that area. The next area that I want to highlight is going to be kind of headed towards west, because we haven't really touched on the west side. Again, it's on the side of the Gila River. There's this little town out here called Gila Bend. And don't worry, no one's going to probably be encouraging you to go to Gila Bend. But those who do go to Gila Bend, they just stop there for like the, what is that? The burger joint that they got there. I think they got in, I don't even know the name of the burger joint they got there that you would stop at. But most of the time, the reason you're going through Gila Bend is because you're on your way to Mexico, to Rocky Point, or you're going to San Diego. But out here, they have a shrimp farm factory. You know, that all those shrimp you eat at like Applebee's and stuff, a lot of those are coming from the shrimp farm out here. I think this is it right here. No, that's the dairy farm, Sunset Farms, Paloma Dairy. Somewhere around here is the shrimp farm. But you know those shrimp you get in the desert? Because shrimp don't come from the desert, guys. They come from the ocean. But we have a farm out here. That's the shrimp you're eating at Applebee's and all these other places. Well, I think so. I don't know for a fact, but it's farm shrimp. Anytime someone says it's farm shrimp and you're getting it in Arizona, it's probably coming from around here. But anyways, just wanted to make this video. There's a few other places you guys can drop in the comments and see if I missed any. But I basically went through a lot of the list. Thanks to the 55 people who smashed the likes. If you haven't already liked the video and you like videos like this, please do hit the likes. If there was one more area that I would say just really isn't appealing, I would have to put this whole area around Quartzsite, Siloam, this area right here. I've been through here a few times. There's nothing really out there, I mean, except for agriculture. There's no vibrance, no life. It's an interesting high desert, but it's not really even that beautiful. I mean, you'd probably have to buy land up in the mountains, and you'd have to like being solitary or isolated. Again, it's basically a desert. It's dust desert. When you fly over Phoenix to Los Angeles, you can see most of that desert where the Kofa Wildlife Refuge is, and you can get a really good insight into what's out there just by cruising around. By the way, guys, I'm also going to be doing a lot of traveling here with Island Hopper TV. I'm going to try to get over to Europe, so if you guys are interested in seeing what it's like in Europe right now, come on over to Island Hopper TV and check it out. I did just pin the comment to the top. So check out Island Hopper TV. That's my other channel. You can see I go all around the world and do these things when I'm not making videos for living in Arizona. I'm with Island Hopper TV making videos and travel guides around the world. We went to El Salvador, Mexico City, Medellin, Colombia, Costa Rica. Last video was Homer, Seward, Alaska, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Dominican Republic. Lots of places, but this time, Europe. It's kind of interesting because of everything that's going on in the world. People are telling me not to go. But I also know some people who are over there, so we'll see if I end up going. I also wanted to mention that we do have a Arizona gubernatorial election coming up in 2022. Who are you guys picking? The only person that I really know about on this list that I personally like is Carrie Lake, because she used to be with KSAZ TV. So my favorite pick right now is the person that I know on that list is Carrie Lake, and she's really one of my front runners for governor. I don't know who you guys like, but yeah, that's the person that I know because I grew up watching her news story, kind of like you guys watch my show. I grew up watching Carrie Lake because she was an anchor. She's got a nice personality, and she's running for Arizona governor. So let me know what you guys think of all that, but that's who I'm going with. And you can check her out more on her website. She's got a Twitter right there. So do check out Carrie Lake and let us know in the comments. But also let us know what towns around Arizona you're not a big fan of. That you would encourage people to stay away from. So anyways, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone who hit the likes, and we'll see you guys on the next one.